Welcome to the Fish House Nation podcast presented by Catch Cover, your home for ice fishing news, tips, stories, and strategies. And now, your host, Chris Larson.
Welcome to the Fish House Nation podcast. Joining us now is Tom McMahon from Voyager Industries and Yeti Fish Houses. Tom, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always great to be on.
Tom, what do you do there at Yeti? Kind of tell people about yourself and what your role is with Voyager Industries.
Yeah, I'm a marketing manager with Voyager. Voyager owns several different brands that we sell through dealer networks. Bear Track aluminum trailers, Voyager docks, which are aluminum docks. And then we also make Titan decking, which is a polypropylene plastic decking that goes on top of docks, marinas, and other lakefront decks across the country, really, and the world. But of course, Yeti is the most fun to work on, being an avid ice fisherman and also enjoying the outdoors year-round.
A lot of those businesses and a lot of those brands are brands that center around having fun on the water, whether it be wet water or hard water. And COVID-19 has really dominated the headlines over the past month in our area. This week, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers extended the shelter-at-home order in Wisconsin through May 26th. In Minnesota right now, it's through early May. But a lot of spring travel plans have changed. I was going to go on spring break, didn't make it. Looks like summer travel plans are changing too. How do you think COVID-19 is going to affect fish house sales this year, Tom?
Yeah, well, I think that's the big question that remains unknown at this point. Overall, we are definitely cautiously optimistic about the year still. We started out the spring coming off of what some would say a bad ice year. So we were really looking forward to getting through our normal spring routine of launching a new model year and getting our dealer network excited. Well, just as you stated, as soon as we got that stuff done, here came COVID-19. And, basically since late March, now most of our dealer network has been shut down, as well as our production. So.
Yeah, with the dealers closed, it's really, I've asked a few people these questions over the last few days, and a lot of them have answered in a similar way in that, it's difficult to really gauge this because a lot of the dealers are closed right now. But I think that, when I talk to people and, just in people that I know, they're planning on doing more things like camping and doing more things like, hey, we're going to go fishing, because even when the stay-at-home order is lifted, I think, people are not going to want to go and do big crowd type of things. What kind of ramp up going into the summer do you expect?
Well, fortunately, due to our dealer network, we do have sufficient inventory on dealer lots. So there is a good selection of models and fish houses available for customers to go look at. A lot of our dealers have all the inventory online, so you don't necessarily even need to be there in person. And the unique part about them is most of them are smaller businesses, so they have the flexibility to change the buying cycles and patterns to really meet your needs with social distancing and working with you over the phone. But as we go into summer, some other things I think to think about, aside from, you mentioned the remote standpoint, that Yeti especially is more of a long-term investment. So many families and individuals aren't just randomly waking up one day saying, I'm going to go buy a fish house, or I'm going to go buy a Yeti. It's something that's thought out. It's a planned investment, planned purchase for these folks. And I think we're going to see a lot of people have that in their plan, and also be able to take advantage of some extremely low interest rates to get a really good deal.
Yeah, some nice interest rates coming down the pipe right now. What else is Yeti doing right now to kind of prepare for the doors opening and being able to really get face to face with people and help them kind of fulfill these things if they're putting together a long range plan for this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing for everyone to remember, regardless of industry, is that as a consumer, you first look to that retail outlet. I want to buy X product. Well, that dealer or outlet has been working with a manufacturer who's also working with hundreds of suppliers, if not, thousands of suppliers. So as we look at getting everything back up and running and streamlined again, not only do we have our aluminum business to build the aluminum shell, we have 2 finishing locations, one in Wisconsin and one in Minnesota. So when can each of those open up? And then also there's the supply chain issue of, where our goods come from, primarily in the U.S., but there are some that come from overseas as well. So how do we make sure we get all those things, on time and we're ramped up to meet needs? So I think the long answer is we're fluently looking at that situation. And number one, from our standpoint, we want to make sure that our employees are protected and are working in a safe environment. And I think as soon as our ownership and management team can confirm that we have the processes in place and the professionals have the guidelines set up, then we will be full bore with production and making some cool stuff.
You touched on a little bit early on in our conversation, but launching some new stuff. What is coming new from Yeti this year? What are you excited about?
Yeah, I think the 2 things that I'm most excited about when we launch a new model year, there's tons of new stuff, and a lot of times the features get missed, I guess. But the 2 things for sure are now Yeti makes a 24-foot fish house. Previously, the largest we made was 21 feet. So really catches us up to a lot of the industry, and also puts us on the forefront of being able to better cater to larger families or families that like to go camping or ice fishing with other groups. So now you can comfortably sleep 7, 8, 9, 10 people in one house. So I think that's really exciting, especially looking at the camping season coming up. The other thing is our new in-command control system, which is a touchscreen system in the house that allows you to control and monitor all of the functions within the house, such as lighting, battery voltage, HVAC operation for heat and AC. And the really cool thing about that is that not only is it on a touchscreen in the house, but it also connects to your phone via Bluetooth, or we have the option that you can have Wi-Fi in your house, and then you can literally control your fish house from anywhere in the world as long as you have cell service.
Interesting. That's a cool feature. Is there anything, Tom, that we didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about today?
I think overall it's just, we're remaining optimistic. I think consumers are, and ultimately we're going to be there when this is over, and we look forward to getting back to work and providing, a top quality fish house and product that our customers have known to love.
Tom McMahon from Voyager Industries and Yeti Fish Houses, thanks so much for joining the Fish House Nation podcast. We appreciate it, and wish you luck here, as hopefully we can get out of this thing pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Joining us now is Matt England from Northland Auto. Matt, thanks for joining the show. I think a lot of people in the wheelhouse community know what Northland Auto is, but for those who don't, tell us about where you're located and what you do at Northland Auto.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're located just north of Malacca, or north of Highway 23, on 169. We do fish house sales, Yeti fish houses. I've been a Yeti dealer for going on 10 years now, and have enjoyed it. It's been a great community to be involved with, and fun time to be involved and in the industry. And that's why we do both sales and service. So we do service on our Yeti fish houses as well for our customers, as well as other Yeti owners. We also do vehicle sales, so it's the Northland Auto Center, so do vehicle sales as well.
With everything going on with COVID, I think a lot of people's travel plans have changed, and just myself and our family, my wife asked me last night, maybe we should think about upgrading our boat right now. And I think you're seeing a lot of people online talking about upgrading their fish house, upgrading vehicles, thinking about doing things that they can do that are outside the realm of spending time in big crowds. What do you feel? How do you feel like COVID is going to change sales in the fish house industry this year?
Yeah, I think it's we've still seen, I think, a pretty decent amount of traffic, even with the stay at home and the COVID going on. I still think there's a lot of interest out there. I think that's kind of more of the trend that really has happened over the last few years, that people are, people are looking, not only just for the wheelhouse, fish house, as well as just kind of your all around RV. So being able to use it year round, I think that trend will continue. I think there may be a little bit of slowdown, but I think once things open back up, that those people will still, sportsmen they're pretty resilient bunch of people, so I think they're going to continue to do what they have been doing, and so I think it's, like you said, I think it's a way to get out and not necessarily be around a bunch of people. You can be around the immediate family that you already have and have been around, and still get out and enjoy it. And that's what Minnesotans like to do in the summertime as well as the winter. So I think to have some of those things closed at this point is too bad. That they do, because obviously we're not in big groups when you're doing that. So, but I continue. I think the track will continue, just to see that, to see people still purchasing, still looking for that kind of all around, all season unit.
Yeah, people are going to be looking to use this in more places than just out on the ice. I'm actually seeing a lot of people online using them, especially people who are maybe healthcare workers, using them kind of as a decontamination unit, where they come home, they go there, they take their clothes off, maybe clean up a little bit before coming into the house. Yeah,
we've heard the same thing too. I know a couple people that have said that they parked out in front of the house, and somebody who is a healthcare worker, they come home and go in there and change clothes and bag up the other stuff that they had and take that in and throw it in the wash immediately. And so I've heard of a few people using them that way as well.
Yeah, one of the unfortunate parts of all this too is that there are several people that are either losing their job or being furloughed, and obviously that's going to have a big impact on their income. How do you think that's going to affect people being able to get out and do things, or maybe possibly purchase a fish house, and now money's going to be a lot tighter for them?
I think hopefully it's a short term. That's obviously all of our hopes, that that the economical impact on this is going to be a short term deal as far as what we feel in the individual household. And I think you still have, obviously, a large percentage of our workforce is still out there working, but I think it's definitely going to take somewhat of an impact on it, for sure, of what people are wanting to spend, or also wanting to keep safe, in a savings account or whatever, just in case, this kind of brings up the just in cases, that what if something like this were to happen again. So I think we're going to see some effect to it. Hopefully it's all short term, that people get confidence back and know that our economy is good, that obviously this is a thing that you invest in, and that part of that is investing into a fish house, into something that you can use with the family, and investing in that time with them too. So to be able to look at kind of all aspects of it at once, but I think for sure it's going to have a definite short-term impact on the industry as a whole.
What are you doing at Northland Auto right now to prepare for the season, and how things are shaping up?
Yeah, we have we've just for our own kind of cut back on our spending, just as a dealership, but also tried to obviously discount some of the stuff that we have, that we can still get people into, and hopefully create some interest there for the consumer, and to know that it's still an affordable way to do it. I think that's the biggest thing for us is preparing for that unknown. It's kind of hard for all of us that we have all these unknowns at this point, but to do what we can to control, one, what we have in output, what we have in money going out, so as a business, and to try to control that, and maybe not put as much in inventory as we probably normally would, and kind of hold back on some of that, see what comes down the pike. So.
You touched on it briefly there, Matt, but if someone is interested in, or they're thinking about buying a house right now, what can they expect right now if they were to come out and talk to you guys?
We're obviously willing to sell and willing to deal on a fish house. I think they can expect, one, the great service that we've always put forth, and that's kind of been our motto here at Northland is our service first. You know, we've built a business for 34 years, and that's our first thing, you know, is to service our customer, to be there, you know, to have the golden rule, to treat others the way we would want to be treated. Secondly, with that, obviously willing to try to make what works, you know, for the customer, to make it obviously to try to get them into a fish house as affordable as possible. You know, we're willing to work with them, and obviously deal on a wheelhouse for sure. I think more stuff that we're seeing right now is that you know, kind of RV package style that's tending to still go, but we got people looking every day too for wheelhouses. But I think, like I said, we're probably willing to move a little more obviously right now than we will probably ever have as far as pricing. But it's also that time of year too. You know, it's not the fall. People aren't thinking about the ice as of yet. Some people still are, but so more thinking about summer here and how we can get out into that.
Matt, is there anything that you wanted to talk about that I didn't ask you about today?
As far as the Yeti fish houses and what we do, there's some fun changes that are coming up on the houses, some new technologies, of course, always coming out in every industry, but we get some nice changes to the houses and in the technology that are going into the houses that are, I think, are going to be just kind of fun items for the 2021 model year that we're foreseeing here. So.
Awesome. If people want to get a hold of you guys, see what you've got going on, what's the best place for them to see what you've got and find out a little bit more about Northland Auto?
Yeah, they can go on to our website. If you Google Northland Auto, or it's nlaci.com is our dealership website. Go on there and see our inventory, see what we got going on, kind of who we are. You know, I always encourage any customer, because I myself do this, but to go on and read our reviews, you know, from our customers, you know, people who have left reviews, always check us out there to do your due diligence. But that's the way to get you know, you can see our inventory, and obviously has our contact information on there, and always encourage you to come in and check out the houses if you're looking for something or something in particular. But go through and actually put your hands on, walk through, and see what you like and what works for you. So, you know, that's one of our things here is we always want you to be happy as a customer and happy with what you purchase. You know, and to get that right the first time is always the nice thing to do. So,
Matt England from Northland Auto, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Chris. Thanks for having us on. And we've always enjoyed the podcast, and it's been fun to see you guys grow and just what you're adding into the industry, and having professionals and, you know, just different opinions and viewpoints on here too. It's been fun to listen to.
Really appreciate it, Matt. Take care and stay safe. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, you too, Chris. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Fish House Nation podcast presented by Catch Cover. For more ice fishing content, visit our blog at catchcover.com.